Ooh, I'm excited today, guys. I have a brand new Engwe X20. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and open up the box real quick, put the bike together, and then I'm gonna take you for a bike ride. Okay guys, my X20 is all built. There were some things that I had to do twice, so when you're building yours, you kind of want to take your time and look at stuff thoroughly before you just start bolting stuff everywhere. Take your time and enjoy the build. Now let's go ahead and charge it up. I've got the keys, so after it's charged up, we'll just go ahead and go for a ride. All right guys, let's go ahead and take a ride. I'm going to talk about some of the specs as well as kind of the performance while we're riding around the neighborhood. We're also going to hit some trails after this. I'm just going to take a quick spin around the block with it. I'm in gear mode 5 right now. It seems like there's 5 different modes on here, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Right now I'm using just the throttle on the left. It also has 8 gears on here that are Shimano gears, which is cool. And I'm just cruising. We've got 20-inch tires on this one, hydraulic brakes. It has a 750 watt motor and up to 1,000 watt peak, so that's not too bad. That's about on par with my Engine Pro. But so far I feel like the handlebars have been lowered compared to what they used to be. It used to be like the Engine Pro handlebars maybe seem a little bit higher, almost like a level with your arms if you stick them straight out, which is kind of comfortable. But this has a lower seat, so it's kind of accommodating, I guess, shorter riders. I think they said anyone from like 5'3" to about 6'7" could ride this thing, but I think if you're 6'7", you're going to be raising up this seat a little bit. So I can use this, and you guys can probably see my screen there. This bike, this company has some of the nicest screens out of any of the e-bikes. This is not like the standard, like typical LED screen, LCD screen. This one's LED, and it's great during the day and in the dark. So we're gonna go down through the neighborhood right here. We're gonna take a right, and we're gonna get some off-road trails, because the fat tires do ride really good, but Oregon has some great off-road trails for mountain bikes, and around our neighborhood we've got some decent trails that are kind of like up to par as far as an e-bike goes. You know, you don't want to really take any harder trails than what's around here. I mean, these are pretty easy neighborhood trails. Okay, so going into the trail right here, I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the assist altogether, because there's quite a bit of rocks in here, some tight turns, and I really don't want this thing turning on right through here, especially on the downhill. Some more technical stuff right here. Testing out the triple suspension, got a little bit of a downhill right here. Just gonna use a little bit of back brake. And I'm not using any throttle right here, but that felt pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and gear up to like 3 going up this hill, get a little bit of help going up the hill. 3 seems to just barely get me up that hill. Not bad. I'm gonna go ahead and back off again so I don't like throw myself into a tree. If you're riding down trails with this kind of bike, you definitely wanna watch like kind of over throttling in certain situations. But honestly, these are not really made for much more than what you see right here. I mean, it's like light gravel on this trail, but there is some technical stuff. Every once in a while, there's a few rocks here and there. And now I'm almost through this section. And right now I'm in gear 1, and I'm just kind of pedaling through here with a tiny bit of assist. Triple suspension's feeling pretty good. Feel like I got some good speed and control, but I don't feel out of control. I mean, it's definitely a cruiser. It's not a mountain bike by any means. Don't confuse this with a mountain bike, or, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even call this a trail bike for sure. And we're back on the gravel road here. We're just gonna cross the street and go into some more trails over here on the other side. I'm gonna go in here. One of my very first e-bike tests in this neighborhood, I was going across this bridge right here, and assist kicked in the back tire and the bridge was wet, and it just threw me off the bridge. I think it was my Aostirmotor bike or whatever. You guys might remember that review, but I went down hard and this old guy saw me fall down. I stood right back up. I was like, did you see that? He's like, yep. So I'm just gonna cruise down here. This is super technical up in here, and I don't even know if I can even make it through. This looks really bad. Yeah, so now we're turned around and let's just go ahead and continue on our trail test. I think this is a really nice e-bike, so I really don't want to take it up in the high rocks like that. I really also don't want it to jump out from under me. These things can really have a lot of torque. When you're wanting to go slow, electric assist is not good. I mean, I have some pretty good bike balance from mountain biking in Oregon, but this is not going to be a situation where I want to test that with an 80-pound bike. And it looks like we came to the end point right here. So we'll turn around and we'll take that other high side of the trail. Okay, so now I'm back out of that trail. I really don't want to mess up this e-bike because I consider this a really nice e-bike, and I just don't want to scratch it all up in the rocks like that. So we're just going to go back on the light trail now. I'm going to go back to like mode 3, which is my comfortable mode. I'm just kind of using a little bit of thumb throttle through here. If you see a tight turn coming up, try to go down into like 1 and 2 so that you can do a little bit of pedaling without being kind of launched off the trail. How's it going, guys? Hello. Doesn't like bikes. Okay, so let's go. So we're back in mode 2 right now, and I'm just cruising. And mode 2, it allows me to kind of just lightly pedal. Right now I'm going like 6 to 8 miles an hour. Now I'm back out of this trail, back onto this main forest road right here, and I can kind of gear up to like 4 or 5 right here. I feel pretty good in like mode 4 on the rocks, like on a rock road. 5 with, you know, holding this 360 camera right here. I would go in speed mode 5 if I wasn't holding that. So I'm just gonna get some speed up. We get to the end of this road and we'll take the upper trail over here on the left. There's a pretty nice little uphill section, so I'm interested to see how this thing does uphill. But again, I'm like holding a 360 camera tripod. Be a much better test if I had a helmet cam. But we'll make do with what we got. And I'm in mode 3, which helped me last time. And if you have to, you can kind of stand up. I went a little wide on that trail, but we made it up. So now this is kind of the upper trail through here. And this is, you know, a lot of people ride through here, people walk. And again, I'm in like mode 3 right here. So what do you guys think? Make some comments in the video below, and let me know what you think about the X20, because I know a lot of people have seen the X24 and the X26, but not a lot of people have seen this bike. And this is the more affordable one of those 3 X-Series bikes. So I'm wondering in mode 3 if I can make it up this section of hill right here. This is a super steep section, and this is like some good old uphill Oregon stuff right here that I usually ride my mountain bike through. But right now I'm just kind of lightly pedaling and almost to the top. Man, the Gear 3 is great for hills. I would say that's at least 30% through there. So that was a good climb. I'm scared on this next section up here. It's a little bit of downhill. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take out my mode down to about mode 1, just until I get to the downhill. When I get to the downhill right here, it's a little bit technical, a little bit of rocks up here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and like pull down to 0. And there's a bunch of rocks through here. Again, riding like one-handed here. And let's see. Go ahead and I'm gonna get rid of that mode. Now we're back into just pedal only. So I'm just gonna lean back down this trail. This is a little narrow through here. This is where the triple suspension, oh, look at all these rocks. So right here, it's all about bike balance and just me paying attention. Ugh. That's a good little technical downhill section right there. Made it through. So, you know, that's kind of an area where e-bikes really have no business going, but you know, if you're an avid e-bike rider and mountain biker, you might do it anyway. So whatever, as long as the bike holds up, good. I tightened everything up on the bike too. If you get a bike from China, just make sure that you go over the entire bike. Check out all the bolts. I've got stuff from the factory before for some of these reviews where some of the most important bolts were loose. So you really do, just like a drone, you want to go over the whole thing with all your Allen wrenches, make sure everything is nice and tight. So it's pretty technical up and over this little section, and up this hill is pretty narrow, but I'm leaning pretty far forward going up, and yeah. Again, it's like this is not a place this bike is really meant to be rode. So kind of a really hella good test for this. Right now, I'm getting way off this throttle, not touching the throttle at all. Super technical through here. So it does have a low center. Right in the center of this bike, it's really can get hit by rocks really easily. All right, so I tried to go through this one section here that just was kind of impassable with this bike. So I'm just gonna work my way back out of here and we'll go down that hill again. Okay, so that was kind of crazy. Yeah, I couldn't get out of there. There was a couple logs across the trail and it got super thick in there. So yeah, I'm on my way out again. And again, like you want to be in kind of 0 speed when you're going down these super technical hills with a lot of rocks and things. But now we're free and back in open air and sunshine, easy trails. I'm gonna go ahead and go back into power mode 3. Seems like that's the best. And the Psycho Dog's not up ahead, just a little guy. But again, I'm finding myself back over here on this light trail and feels good. Even in like gear 3, I don't feel like kind of overjuiced or overpowered. Just taking it easy. And we'll hit this hill. There's a little bit of rock, there's a little bit of technical right here, but I'm gonna go ahead and use the thumb throttle, not using the pedal assist here. I find myself pedaling though, which is kind of strange, but it is a bike. So a little bit of technical right here. Oh, almost put a foot down. So, you know, get a couple points off if you put a foot down when you're mountain biking. I really tried to like just go through the rock gardens and not put a foot down. All right, there's the trail. And this is, you know, this is nothing right through here. This is just grass and a little bit of wood chips through here. But this is most neighborhoods. I mean, this is kind of like a park in a neighborhood. But yeah, I feel like this is doing better through here than my Engine Pro did as far as like suspension goes. You got that center seat suspension, dual suspension fork up front, and now dual suspension in the back as well. So you got really pretty anodized aluminum orange dual suspension in the back, which I like a lot. That's one of the first things I noticed when I pulled it out of the box. I was like, oh, look at that pretty bling right there. And there goes my favorite guy in the world, the UPS man, bringing me new e-bikes. So this review is just about over, guys. Let's head back to the back deck and let's talk about this bike on the back deck, my final impressions about the X20 versus, say, something like the Engine Pro that I also own. And again, I didn't buy this bike. I got this bike free for a review from Engwe, and it's my bike. I get to say what I want about it, and I'll tell you the good and the bad stuff in this review. I won't hold back. I'll let you guys know what's up. All right, guys, welcome back from the ride test, the trail test, road, gravel, and trail. I took the X20 on it. I think it did pretty good, but let's get honest about this bike in comparison to something like the Engine Pro, because that's the other one that I have, and in comparison to some of the other sub $1,000 bikes, if you pay just a little bit more up to about the $1,500 range, I mean, you probably know already there's going to be a big difference between quality. The Aostirmotor bike that I reviewed a while back, that was one of the larger sub $1,000 bikes. This one is around the $1,500 to $1,599 price. I think there's a huge difference in jump in quality versus this one versus that bike. And even with the Engine Pro, there's differences and similarities between this one and the Engine Pro series. I really like that one, and a lot of people around YouTube also seem to like it. It is dual suspension. This one is triple suspension. Suspension here in the back, the center, and up front for the front fork. You have dual suspension up front. There's also, you can close and open. So if you're on the road and you don't want it to be bouncing around and too bumpy and too soft, you want more control at higher speed, you want to close off that front fork at higher speed. So if you're on the trail, you're doing light trail, maybe there's some rocks on the trail, things like that, you want it to be a little more juicy, go ahead and open it up, and that way you'll get that suspension working nice. Now, I like the suspension. Triple suspension worked great on the trail today, and I got myself into some situations that I shouldn't have been in with this heavy of an e-bike. I mean, I don't recommend taking an 80-pound e-bike on really any mountain bike trails. It's ridiculous. People look at you like you're some kind of fool for doing that. And I was a little bit of a fool for going into places today that this bike really shouldn't be going. But I really did want to test it out for you guys and show you that I'm just not taking it out for a cruise and kicking out some kind of biased review. So now I have an opinion when I came back with it. And I have to say, it survived. Is it a trail bike? No. Did it ride pretty good on light trail? Absolutely. So if you do have some trails and you want to hit trails, you're a younger person, you want to do that, you can do that. It has kind of the same setup on the front for the LED control. The Navi is about the same size as the Engine Pro. It has the same push button controls for navigation as well, the power on, the power off, headlight on the right, and up and down buttons are your gears. They're going to make it go up and down in different modes, all the way up to mode 5. And I like the fact that it does have Shimano gears on here. So if you have an e-bike and you're across town, a lot of people ask me, what happens if the battery dies? Can I pedal it home? Same thing with e-boards. They're always asking, can I skate home? With this bike, you can, because you have 8 gears on here. If you have a little bit of elevation change, you have some hills and things like that, it will still go up hills with the battery off, because you can put it all the way in the lowest gear, make it up that hill. I have another bike that's a Max Fox bike, and that Max Fox bike does not have any type of gears on board, so it's a fixie. So when your battery dies, you're kind of locked into one gear, and at times you're going to have to get off the bike going up hills. Just a fact of life. I do like the fact that it also has kind of palm rest here. It feels like a leather style grip, and it also has inserts on the end where you could put some accessories. So if you wanted to put like some kind of a rear view mirror off the side, you can take this bolt off right here and pop a rear view mirror on the side. On either side you can do that. That's kind of nice if you're riding in traffic or using it as a commuter bike. And really, I think that's what this bike is this a true commuter bike. It's not meant to be on trails, because honestly, like if you look under at the bottom of the bike, you only have about 7 inches of clearance between this bottom post where the battery mounts into right here to the ground. So you know, if you have a little bit of elevation change or you try to curb hop with this bike, you're definitely going to hit this part of the bike. You're going to curb check or hit a rock. So be super careful with that low center of gravity point right there on this bike. Otherwise, you know, I wish they were a little bit lighter. 80 pounds, kind of hard to get up on the back of a bike rack or load it into a van if you're going on a road trip. But if you have a small car, something like a Prius, it folds down pretty quickly and you can put it inside the car. Maybe it won't get stolen as easily inside the car, and you can keep the bike safe. And the 50-mile range, that's good. That's good for me. It charges up in about 7 hours time to get that full charge. So again, like, don't write it down to 0%, write it down to about 20 to 30%, and then recharge it. You should get plenty of charge cycles on this battery before you need to go out and buy a new one. You'll probably sell this bike before you kill the battery, unless you ride every day and you ride a lot of distance. But the front and back brakes did good on the trails today, and it was a fun little test for you guys. And probably places I shouldn't have taken it, but I took it there for you guys. So I hope you appreciate that in this review. So I appreciate you watching my reviews and subscribing on the channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button and click the notification bell for when the new videos come out, so you know when those new e-bike and skateboard and scooters and drone reviews come out. Guys, I'm Justin Davis. Take care, and I will see you on the next one.